So when we try and draw something that's really, really close up, we need to think and consider a couple of things. So I've started to do a little bit of a drawing here, but I've not made that up in my imagination or anything. And you've got to make sure that the first thing you're doing is you're drawing from a photograph, or either a photograph that you have taken or a photograph that you found on the internet if it's Key Stage 3. So if I just show you here on my laptop here, you can see I've got the Year 7 PowerPoint up there, and I've got a few options. So I've got option A, I can either choose one of these two, option B or option C. So we're going to have a look. Already in option B I've chosen this one, and option A I've chosen this one. The first thing that I need to think about is, what shapes am I drawing? I'm not thinking about drawing a whole thing, I'm just thinking about the shapes to start off with. So for example here, we've got these basic shapes of semicircles, okay? But when we have a little bit more closely, you can see that they've got wiggly lines in them. We've got these lines that are going up, okay? But we would start off by breaking it down into simple shapes first, okay? So if I was to draw this, and I was thinking about this one, this shape just here, I'd think maybe, right, okay, that line there is about a quarter, just over a quarter of the way along the top line, okay? So when I go back to my picture and I'm going to draw it, so if I was drawing it in this box here, I think, right, okay, a quarter of the way along, I'm going to start and mark that off, okay? So this is figuring out where your lines are, okay, the proportions of it and where it is on the page. This line here is about just less, well, that if that's halfway, it's about a quarter of the way, so it's a little bit less than what that is, and I will mark that off. So we'll go back to here. So I've already marked this one off here. I think, right, a quarter of the way along, I'm going to mark it off about there. So I've only got these two lines to start off with, and then it's just a case of thinking, right, what shape is that? So thinking in basic terms, it's like a semicircle shape, okay, and it comes out right nice and rounded, okay? Thinking about that, I'm going to go back to my picture that I'm drawing, and I'm going to think, right, okay, now I just need to match it up, making sure that I've got that shape, okay? And that would be the first thing that I would do. I would then start to look at my second shape. So I'm ignoring these two bits at the moment. I'm going for the main bits. So this one, this line is about just under halfway between this, in the middle of this one here, and then it goes to just a little bit up from the bottom, from the corner. So I'll go back and I will mark that off. So about halfway and just a little bit up from the corner, and then I draw another semicircle or kind of shell kind of shape, okay? And then draw the other one. So I'm just going to have a look at drawing so you can just watch. So all I do each time, a quarter, is I mark it off to start off with. So then I know it's almost still like doing a dot to dot. I start off with the basic shapes, I'm not doing anything else. So I'm constantly looking at my picture, okay? Constantly thinking, where does it go to? What shape is it? Is it the right angle? Is it the right size? Okay? That's really, really important when you're trying to draw your pictures. Also, it's really important that you press them really lightly, because in a moment we're going to change quite a lot of this shape. So it's not going to quite look like this, because not everything is just basic shapes, is it? Okay, so I'm nearly done now. So mark this one off. So you say about 70% of the time you're looking at the picture that you're drawing from, and 30% of the time you're looking at the drawing and what you're actually creating there. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a basic shape there. So now all I want to do is I'm going to go show you on the PowerPoint. On here, you can see that these, especially this one here, it's not quite a semicircle. It kind of goes down and out and then in, wiggly line. Okay, this one here especially, it goes down around a bit and it goes in a bit here, goes out, in. So then we start to render it. That means going back, now we've got the basic outline, going back and changing the shape to match, to make it more realistic. So if I was having a look at that one there, I go back and be like, right, it goes down, it goes along, got a bit of a wiggle line, it goes in a little bit here, so it goes out, sorry, and then in a bit, loops there. So again, I'm still drawing it really, really lightly, just in case I make a mistake and I can start to rub bits out. So I'm changing the shape of it. I also know now that it's got lines that are going parallel, well, they're joining each other, sorry. And then it's got a little bit of one of these little black oval shapes there. I'm not colouring it in, I'm literally just drawing the outlines of everything. And no point to start off with will I ever shade or colour in, because you've got to make sure that all of those shapes are right first, which might actually take you a good while, okay? About 10-15 minutes, depending on the size. Just change some of these shapes here. You can draw in shadows as well. I'm drawing a couple of these shadows as well. But I'm not shading them in. A few more of these lines. Okay, and you carry on until you've got the right shape. So just to recap, the key things that are really important is figuring out where on your page that you are going to be drawing something, at what position. Mark it off like a dot to dot and create your basic simple shapes, okay? It's really important that you break it down into simple shapes first, or you're going to end up with it all odd, okay? If you're trying to draw something, say for example a bird, and you try and draw the whole bird all at once, it's not going to necessarily look like that at the end of it. But if you've broken it down into simple shapes first and build it up, then it's going to be more accurate. Okay, make sure you got the basic shapes, make sure the positioning of them's right. If you're enlarging from a photograph, then you need to make sure that the size is right as well, and the scale. Okay, and that is how you draw accurately from observation.